All right, all right. First and foremost, want to give all glory, honor, and praise unto the Most High God, whose name is Yahweh, and the only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shai in the Paleo Hebrew. Right, Soldier Uriah coming at you with a so-called Turn Up Thursday, right? Um, and it's gonna be something quick through the spirit, right? Just tapping in until our going into the temple, right? As you can see, the title of this live is called Our Temple, right? Because we're gonna touch on the physical temple that Solomon built, right? But we're gonna touch on the spiritual temple as well, right? So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get in this thing, man. Right? We're gonna kick it off in the book of Second Samuel, the seventh chapter. Right? We're gonna get a little bit of history, right? Just a little bit, right? Because I know it's a late night, brothers and sisters got work in the morning. The spirit might move some brothers and sisters to kind of hop in this thing out of their sleep. Like it's saying in the book of Song of Solomon, chapter 5, right? Verse number 2. Right? I'm going to get there real quick, actually. Right? Book of Song of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 2. It says, I sleep, but my heart waketh. Right? And that's plain, right? He says, hey, I'm asleep, but my heart is awake. Going into what? What is your heart symbolic for? Your mind, right? According to Jeremiah 17 and 9, Proverbs 4, verse 7, right? So it says, hey, I sleep, but my heart waketh. So your mind, hey, you ever had dreams about the precepts? Or you might have been in a deep sleep and you kind of just hearing yourself prophesy, right? Hey, sometimes the Lord will move that spirit upon you, right? In these late night and wee hours of the nights, right? Let's read on. It is the voice of my beloved that knocketh. It's the voice of the Lord Yahweh Shai that's knocking, right? Constantly telling us, hey, wake up, awake out of sleep, right? According to Revelation chapter 3 and verse 20. Open to me, my sister, my love, right? My dove, my undefiled, right? That's all I'm wondering on that, right? So let's go ahead and get in this thing, right? Like I said, we're gonna get a little bit of history and we're gonna kind of get the double to that which is on it, right? Second Samuel chapter 7 and verse 1. And it came to pass when the king sat in his house. Who was the king? He's talking about King David, right? During the Davidic dynasty, okay? When the king sat in his house, and the Lord had given him rest round about from all his enemies, that the king said unto Nathan the prophet, see now, I dwell in an house of cedar, but the ark of God dwelleth within curtains, right? So King David kind of making an observation like, man, why am I living so lavishly in the ark of the Most High? It's kind of just dwelling about behind sheets, right? Let's read on. And Nathan said to the king, go, do all that is in thine heart, for the Lord Yahweh is with thee. All right, we got to take that precept for face value as well, man. Right? Because in this truth, hey, what's the precept for that? Philippians 4 and 13. I can do all things through Hamashiach Yahushua, which strengthen me. Right? Hey, the prophet Nathan said, hey, the Lord is with thee. Go do what you gotta do. Right? So we can't be fearful in this truth. Right? We can't be fear. Hey, when Nehemiah and Ezra and Haggai and Dodo and Zechariah was building up the wall during the time of the Persian Medes captivity, do you think they regarded what the heathen said? Or did they know that the Lord was with them? Right? Shalom, brother Azariah. Mighty brother right there. Right? But let's read on. Verse 4. And it came to pass that night that the word of the Lord came unto Nathan, saying, go and tell my servant David, thus said the Lord, Shalt thou build me an house for me to dwell in? Whereas I have not dwelt in any house since the time that I brought up the children of Israel out of Egypt, even to this day, but have walked in a tent and in a tabernacle. Right? So that's a precept for the Lord's tabernacle right there. Right? It's a precept to show, hey, the Lord dwell in the tabernacles, so we gotta dwell in the tabernacle. Right? Let's read on. In all the places wherein I have walked with all the children of Israel, spake I a word with any of the tribes of Israel, whom I commanded to feed my people Israel, saying, why build ye not me an house of cedar? Now therefore, so shalt thou say unto my servant David, thus saith the Lord of hosts, I took thee from the sheepcote, from following the sheep, to be ruler over my people, over Israel. And I was with thee whithersoever thou wentest, and have cut off all thine enemies out of thy sight, and have made thee a great name, like unto the name of the great men that are in the earth. And that's a true statement, right? People know about King David. He lived many, a plethora of thousands of years ago, right? Let's drop down to verse 12. And when thy days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, I will set up thy seed after thee. Who is King David's seed? Solomon, right? Ultimately treading all the way down to Yahushua, right? When you read Matthew chapter, the first chapter, okay? And thou shalt sleep with thy fathers. I will set up thy seed after thee. Shalakia. Which shall proceed out of thy bowels, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build an house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. Right now, this precept right here, this is double fold. Right? It's a double fold precept because, hey, right now, hey, it's talking about Solomon, but in the spirit, it's talking about who? Yahweh Shah. Right? Because think about it. Solomon's kingdom didn't last forever. Right? Hey, Solomon gave Israel 40 years of peace. Right? And after that, what happened to the tribes? Split up, disbanded, right? Cast aside, right? So you got to think about these things, right? Because, hey, he said, I'm going to establish his kingdom, right? And I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. Who's the new king in the earth? Who's the new king to the Israelites? Yahweh Shah, according to what? John the 19th chapter, verse 30 on down. The king of the Jews. All right? So let's read on. He shall build an house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. Right? I will be his father, and he shall be my son. Right? We're not going to get into that part because that's ultimately going into the spirit of regeneration, right? But what the point we want is, hey, he's going to build a house for my name, right? Because ultimately that's what's happening right now, right? That's what happened with King Solomon, right? A house was being built for the glory of the Most High God. All right. Let's go to the next precept. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 1 and verse 33. Right. 1 Kings chapter 1 and verse 33. And it reads thus. The king also said unto them, take with you the servants of your Lord, and call Solomon my son to ride upon mine own mule, and bring him down to Gihon, and let Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet anoint him there, king over Israel. So during King David's last, or giving his dying breaths to, or his last words, right? He's anointing King Solomon in the midst of the congregation. Okay. And it says thus, and blow ye the trumpet, blow ye with the trumpet, and say, God save King Solomon. Then ye shall come up after him, that he may come and sit upon my throne, right? Because what did the Lord just say in 2 Samuel chapter 7, right? He's gonna sit on the throne of David, right? He's gonna what? Build a house for his name's sake. All right. Let's read on. For he shall be king in my stead, and I have appointed him to be ruler over Israel and over Judah. So now we have the premises of who this upcoming king is, right? In the appropriate context. Yahweh Shah. Solomon. It's Yahweh Shah through the spirit, but in the context of Solomon. Salakia. All right. Let's hop over to First Kings, the 5th chapter. Right. And before we do that, man, I want to pull out a certain key point in verse 33. Well, really verse 34. Right? It says, and let Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet anoint him their king over Israel, and blow you with the trumpet and say, God save King Solomon. Right? This is a mighty thing, man. Right? This is a mighty act because we're a holy people, man. We have the God-given, the literal God-given ability to be kings on the earth, right? To be gods on the earth, right? Let's get a quick precept, right? This is the type of people we are. We're not damn the scum of the earth, right? We're not the filth on the bottom of the shoe, right? We're somebody, right? We're people that matters, right? Let's get this in Revelations, right? The 5th chapter, right? Revelation chapter 5 and verse 10. It says, and has made us unto our God kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth, right? So through the spirit of the Most High, right? Hey, the Lord has made us unto them. Hey, the Lord Yahweh Shai has made us kings and priests unto the Most High God, man. And we shall reign on the earth. So think about that, brothers and sisters, right? I'm right now specifically talking to you brothers right now, though, because hey, man, it's hard being an Israelite man in this present world, man. You got all this damn temptation, filthy lust. You got women they choosing whether they in the truth or out the truth, right? You deal with all these damn strange spirits trying to destroy your mind and cause you to, off yourself on a day-to-day basis, or cause you to have low confidence, low self-esteem. Brothers, you got to think about this right here, man. Hey, Yahweh Shai has made us kings and priests unto the Most High God. We are the men, right? That's more precious than fine gold, right? Let me get another one. Let's go to Zephaniah real quick. It's one of my favorite precepts. The mighty book of Zephaniah, chapter 3 and verse 19. All right, Zephaniah, it's like Zephaniah 3 and 19. It says thus, behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee. So every nation that's afflicting our nation right now, right? The Lord said He's going to undo those nations, right? Think about how Esau pushing propaganda on our people, man. Man, I was chopping it up with this sister at my job, right? And I was talking about the propaganda that they put in the children's shows at a young age, specifically the alphabet gang, right? That's specifically what we was talking about. And I was telling her like, hey, why did they have these in the shows growing up? I'm talking about kid shows. And her response was, well, that's just because that's what they're gonna be getting. They have to get used to that in life. And I look at her, I'm like, you can't be serious, right? This is an affliction that they put on our people, right? Right? They put these in our shows, they put it in our music, right, to destroy our minds, right? to have us feel like, hey, this was right, right? To have us kind of follow after their ways, right? But I say that to say this, right? Because the Lord said, I will undo all that afflict thee. Man, they putting pork in our foods, right? They putting all manner of unclean spirits in our faces. They putting damn drugs and sorcery and witchcraft within our communities, damn murders by abortions, and so on and so forth. These nations are afflicting us, man. Right? I don't give a damn if it's Ishmael. Ishmael raising the damn bar on our people, man. Right? Having us pay all these damn billions of dollars, right? Setting up damn stores in our communities, selling us black and milds, right? Having us drunk in the streets, right? These are the afflictions that we go through by these nations, all right? It says, behold, at that time, I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halted, and gather her that was driven out, and I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. Right? So, you brothers, you hear that precept, man. And you got to live in that precept, right? You got to understand that the Lord said, hey, in these diverse lands where you've been put to shame, man, I'm going to give you so much glory. I'm going to give you so much power, so much fame, right? Hey, the nations are going to know you, man, right? The nations are going to understand these are the gods of the earth, right? I'm going to read that last part again. And I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. Man, we've been put to shame in damn Babylon, man. We've been put to shame in filthy America, man. And the Lord gonna give us praise in this place, man. Right? Hey, the glory of the nations. Right? Matter of fact, let me get that precept. The glory of the nations, man. They're gonna bring their glory into us, man. Let's get this. Right? The forces of the Gentiles. Where we at? Let's get this real quick. Isaiah, I'm gonna start at the book of Isaiah, chapter 60 and verse 9. It says, surely the isles wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of the Lord thy God, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he has glorified thee. So these nations are going to come from many different places, man, far and nigh, right? All because the Lord have glorified us, right? And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee, right? Let's drop down to verse 11. Here's the point. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. Right? So that's the Lord giving us a power switch, man. And letting us know that, hey, you're important to me. Because I'll destroy whole civilizations and kingdoms and nations of people simply to glorify and exalt you, Israel. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Right? So I don't want us to tap in with that, right? Just because we was talking about how Solomon got anointed. Right? So let's go to First Kings chapter 5. Right? Because mind you, we still talking about this temple. Right? First Kings chapter 5, right? We're gonna start at the top. All right. And it reads thus. And Hiram, king of Tyre, sent his servants unto Solomon, for he had heard that they had anointed him king in the room of his father. For Hiram was ever a lover of David. That's not meaning he was a homosexual. That simply means, as these precepts that we just brought out, how the nation were going to submit themselves unto us. That's what that's talking about, right? Let's read on. And Solomon sent to Hiram, saying, Thou knowest how that David my father could not build an house unto the name of the Lord his God, for the wars which were about him on every side, until the Lord put them under the soles of his feet. But now the Lord my God had given me rest on every side, so that there is neither adversary nor evil occurring. So, hey, Solomon is taking a charge now, right? Solomon, like, hey, my father couldn't do it because he was always at war, but I'm at peace now. Hey, now it's time to get cracking. Now it's time to get busy, right? Now it's time for me to build this temple, man, right? Ultimately, it's also showing you the words of prophecy, right? Because Second Samuel chapter 7, the prophet Nathan prophesied that there was going to be a king out of the lineage of David that will build this temple. And lo and behold, who built it? All right. I'm gonna hop around here just a moment, right? Just so let's read on verse 5. And behold, I purpose to build an house unto the name of the Lord my God, as the Lord spake unto David my father, saying, Thy son, whom I will set upon thy throne in thy throne room, Asalaki, in thy room, he shall build an house unto my name. Right, let's drop to verse 17. And the king commanded, and they brought great stones, costly stones, and huge stones to lay the foundation of the house. Right? So think about this, right? Hey, on one fold, they did that to build the temple of the Most High, right? On another fold, think about the beautiful mansions that we'll have in the kingdom of heaven, right? Yahweh Shai said, in my father's house are many mansions, right? Think about the glory that'll be in those things, man. Talking about your topaz, your gold, your silver, your carbuncle, right? Your rubies, your diamonds, your what's it called? Um, asters. I can't think of the name, man. Right? Your emeralds, right? Think about these glorious jewels that'll be present in that day, man. I'm talking about things that the earth hasn't even discovered to the world yet, man. Right? But look at this on another fold. It said what? It says, and the king commanded, and they brought great stones, costly stones, and huge stones to lay the foundation of the house. Right? So Israel, right? We need a foundation. Who is our foundation? Yahweh Shai, right? Yahweh Shai is the chief cornerstone. Yahweh, hey, without Yahweh Shai, hey, this house would down fall, man. Right? Without Yahweh Shai, hey, we have no mercy. We be condemned. The Lord will destroy us if Yahweh Shai wasn't our mediator, man. We seen what happens when we don't have a mediator. The Lord damn cause massive earthquakes and swallow men's and their whole families, right? The Lord sends serpents among peoples, right? Hey, the Lord will open up the sea, kind of swallow you in that thing, right? We need the mercy of the Lord Yahweh Shai, right? Let's get a quick precept. Let's go to Ephesians, right? The classic, Ephesians 2 and 20. It reads us. Oh, I started at 19. Now, therefore, yeah, no more strangers and foreigners. Because, hey, when we step in this truth, we're no longer strangers and foreigners, man. We're Yasha Allah, right? We're Israelites, right? But fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of the Most High God. Verse 20. And are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Yahweh Shahid Mashiach himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom all the building fitly framed together groweth unto an holy temple in the Lord. Verse 22. In whom ye also are builded together for an habitation of God through the Spirit. Right? So Yahweh Shai, our chief cornerstone, he is our foundation, man. And through that foundation, that's the only way we can build unto the Most High. Right? I want to get another one. Right? When I'm thinking about Proverbs, I'm thinking about in Proverbs, just through the Spirit. Let's go to Proverbs, the 9th chapter, right from the top. Proverbs 9:1. Wisdom hath builded her house. She hath hewn out her 7 pillars. Right? And that's plain. Right? Hey, wisdom has to be your house. Hey, it said 7 pillars. Not a literal number 7, but a number of perfection. Right? Within these pillars. Right? Within this foundation, hey, it's perfection and wisdom. Right? Hey, wisdom, right? That's what's going to allow you to live. Keep my commandments and live. That's what the Lord said, right? Hey, if you want to know about wisdom, read Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 6. Right? Okay, so let's go back to it. 1 Kings 5:17. And the king commanded, and they brought great stones, costly stones, and huge stones to lay the foundation of the house. Right? So now we have an understanding. Hey, this house is now being built. Right? Yahweh Shai, hey, he's the foundation of our temple. Right? Now let's hop over 1 Kings chapter 6. Right? And we're gonna read a little bit in there. Right? I really want I'm gonna start at 35. 1 Kings chapter 6 and verse 35. Salaki. Right? 1 Kings 6 and 35. And he carved thereon cherubims and palm trees and open flowers, and covered them with gold fitted upon the carved work. And he built the inner court with 3 rows of hewed stone and a row of cedar beams. In the 4th year was the foundation of the house of the Lord laid in the month Ziph. And in the 11th year, in the month Bul, which is the 8th month, was the house finished throughout all the parts thereof. It said in the 11th year, in the month Bul, which is the 8th month, was the house finished. Right? In the 11th year, right, this house was finally finished, man. Now, hey, 11 years, hey, think about 11 years in this truth, right? That's a long time, right? That's a long time of your spirit being broken down, right? That's a long time of your spirit being built back up. That's a long time of your spirit being beautified, strengthened, humbled, right? That's a long time for a house to be built. That's how you know it was a glorious house, though. It wasn't something that you could just store up overnight. No, this thing had to take time, man. How much more us in this truth, right? We have to take time to truly be built up, man, to truly get purified, right? Hey, it's of the Lord's mercy that we not cast away. Why? Because the Lord is long suffering, right? And in his long suffering, hey, best believe he's going to purify us and chastise us. But throughout a certain disposition of time, though, right? Let's get this. Go to Ecclesiastes chapter 9, right? Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 11. I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happeneth to them all. Right? So, hey, this race is not to the swift. This truth is not to the swift. It don't matter about, oh yeah, I came into the truth. I learned this amount of precepts within a span of this amount of months. No, right? Hey, because you could learn the precepts and you could not apply the precepts, right? But in patience, you taking your time to sow the seed, right? You watering the seed, you praying more, you're fasting more, you're reading, right? You're praying for a sincere spirit, right? And making sure that you're doing the things that the Most High God requires of you, man, right? Hey, that's something beautified, man. That's something that the Lord can have respect unto, right? But the point stands, hey, your temple's not going to be built in a day. Hey, Rome wasn't built in a day. That's what the people say, right? How much more your spirit, man? Hey, if you fall, get back up, right? If you slip, hey, kind of, tighten up. If you stumble, hey, tie your shoe, right? Man, I want to get some more, man, but I'm kind of cutting it close on time, man. So we're gonna get a couple more precepts through the spirit, man. Right? We're gonna get a couple more precepts, right? So we said what it took it about 11 years, or in 11th year, right? The foundation or the house was finally finished, man. Right? So hey, be patient with yourselves, Yasha. In due time, your beautified one will be becoming right. So this is the temple, man. Now, how does this translate to us? Because we're the Lord's temple, right? Let's go to the classic, First Corinthians, the 3rd chapter, right? First Corinthians chapter 3, and verse number 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you, right? So don't you understand that we are the temple of the Most High, right? We can't give our temple over to idols, to fornication, to evil lust, right? To drunkenness and revelings, right? Read Second Maccabees chapter 6, right? Look at what they was doing in the temple. Esau defiling our temple, defiling the Lord's temple, man, right? These are examples of what we ought not to do with our temples, right? Sacrificing to idols. Can't do that, right? If there's something preventing you from serving the Lord, you gotta, like Yahweh Shah said, cut it off, right? But know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High, right? Let's read on. If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy. And your temple can't be holy if you're defiling it with sin, man. Him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are, right? So we got to be careful with how we treat our temples, man. Right? If you defile the temple, not refraining from certain lust in your appetite, right? What happens to your temple? It starts to get destroyed, right? Start putting on a couple extra more pounds, right? Next thing you know, your breathing is out of whack, man. Right? Next thing you know, you got high blood pressure, diabetes, right? And the list just goes on and on. And those are only on the carnal side. What about the spiritual side, right? What about the side of Matthew chapter 12, when the Lord say, when an unclean spirit go out of a man and to come back with seven more? Because you defile your temple. You did that, right? That's why it's very important that we apply these precepts, right? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 45. Because that's why the Lord said, hey, woe to him that striveth with his maker. The Lord is the maker, right? We are a temple. We belong to the Lord. Let's get this. Isaiah 45, like verse number 9. Woe unto him that striveth with his maker, that the potsherd strive with the potsherds of the earth. Shall the clay say to him that fashioneth it, what makest thou? The clay's not going to speak to the Most High like, what you doing? Right? But when we sin and defile our temples, that's exactly what we do to the Lord. All right? Shall the Salaki, for thy work he hath no hands. Right? So hey, keep that in mind. Right? Because hey, man, we're the Lord's temple, man. I can only repeat it so many times. Right? We're the Lord's workmanship, man. Right? And with that being said, that means it's much more work to do. The temple isn't ready. The Lord's sacrifice is not ready. Right? So let's get this. Nehemiah 4 and 6. It says, so built we the wall, and all the wall was joined together. Man, we got to continue to build this thing, Yashala. Right? The work is not done. Yeah, we know we Israelites. Yeah, we know we got to keep the Lord's law, statutes, commandments. But we still have to seal the elect. We still have to present our bodies a living, holy, acceptable sacrifice, according to Romans 12 and 1. Right? But chiefly, we still got to seal the elect. Right? Hey, it's still time to go out to camp. Right? Go out to camp and teach the word, man. Bring back the lost sheep of the house of Israel to repentance. Right? So it says what? So built we the wall, and all the wall was joined together unto the half thereof. For the people had a mind to work. And we have to constantly have a mind to work in this walk, man. We have to have the mind to work, man. Because we're not going to let the heathen build this wall for us, man. Right? Nobody can get the kingdom for us. We have to do it ourselves, man. Philippians 2 and 15. Right? Work at your own salvation with fear and trembling. All right? So the Lord has given us a charge, man. We got to build this wall, man. We got to keep this temple in check. Right? Let's go to Colossians chapter 4. Right? Colossians chapter 4 in verse 17. It says thus, and say to Archippus, take heed to the ministry which thou hast received in the Lord, that thou fulfill it. Brothers and sisters, right? Our ministry is to what? Build this temple. Fulfill your role, right? And everybody's role in building this temple is different. According to what? 1 Corinthians chapter 12. You got some teachers, you got some prophets, you got some evangelists, right? Or even with the sisters, right? Refreshing the souls and the souls of the saints, man. Preparing meals for the Sabbath, giving them to the brothers, right? Teaching the children at home, bringing up avengers, right? Bringing up the next mighty and righteous generation, right? This is all honorable steps in what the Lord commanded us to do to build this temple. That's why they said, what? Remember your ministry and fulfill it. Right? Let's get one more, then we're going to close out to the Spirit, man. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 35. Right? 1 Corinthians 7 and verse 35. And it reads thus, and this I speak for your own profit, not that I may cast a snare upon you, but for that which is comely, and that ye may attend upon the Lord without distraction. Right? There's too many distractions in this present world right now, man. Too many. Right? You got the social medias, you got your phones, your emails, right? Your jobs, Hey, at times your own family, right? Your hobbies, whatever you do on your spare time, attend upon the Lord without distraction, man. And that's how we're gonna build this temple, right? No more shall we let the covetousness of this world, man, distract us, right? So, Lord willing, man, that's my time for the night. Lord willing, brothers and sisters will edify through the Spirit, man. Lord willing, a spark kind of got lit up somewhere in somebody's mind through the Spirit of the Most High. That's my time for the night, Brother Uriah. Signing out, man. Shalom.